I never thought that the Chloe/Koharu story would ever amount to anything in Journeys, but I'm glad to be proven wrong. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 50 of the Journeys anime titled Galar Fossils. Stick 'em together just dropped, and in this episode, our heroes go to Galar to bring together some fossils back to life. Will it work? Well, let's find out. The episode begins with Chloe returning from school, and the first thing she does is bring out her Eevee and pet Yamper. I'm glad to see finally that she is now getting comfortable enough with Pokemon to take Eevee to school. As she's messing about her Pokemon, Professor Cerise calls her to the lab. He has her join a meeting between Ash, Goh, and the Pewter City Museum curator, who asks them to go to Galar because he heard rumors of some fossils. Cerise asks her if she wants to go, and initially while she's hesitant because she has school the next day, Eevee encourages her to do so she accepts. Schools in the Pokemon world are weird, aren't they? Similar to Go, I'm surprised they just let kids just randomly skip school for Pokemon adventures. I guess I shouldn't be surprised in a world where 10-year-olds can become trainers and go around the world, but still. And it's also enjoyable because we're seeing the evolution of Chloe as a person, which is good. She's also excited to see Galar for the first time from an airplane. After they land, our heroes are in the wild area with Pikachu and Eevee are playing around when Eevee accidentally bumps into a Boldore. Boldore uses Stone Edge and Cinderace blocks it with Blaze Kick as Chloe tries to protect Eevee. Then Cinderace uses Tackle on it and Go captures the Boldore. Now that both Ash and Go have a Boldore, I wonder if we'll see the return of Ash's Boldore anytime soon. It's unlikely, but still. The fact that they picked Boldore over any of the hundreds of other Pokemon they could have picked makes me a bit hopeful. Anyways, eventually they do find the dig site as a guy named Gasatsu is breaking the area around with his Mudsdale looking for fossils. His name loosely translates to being rough. That's his character trait throughout this episode. And since Rough is an easier name to say than Gasatsu, next time I refer to him I'll just be saying Rough. He shows them around the dig site and shows them a bunch of fossils around the wall and says, hey, you just gotta help us grab it. And then comes in Cara Liss, who shows up late. Cara Liss is the same lady from the game if you played it, and her Japanese name is also a pun on the word careless. With our heroes helping, they help unearth a lot of fossils, and eventually, after a while, they have a bunch of different pieces, but nothing quite fits together right. Cara Liss wants to combine the fossils she has to make Arctovish. Ruff wants to combine the fossils he got to make Dracozolt. They put the fossils in the machines to be combined, but they accidentally mix up the different orders of the fossils. If you played the game, then you know where this is heading. While the fossil machines are restoring the fossils, which could take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, our heroes are hungry, so they all decide to cook some camp curry. Everyone has helped contribute, but it looks like Cara Liss forgot some of the spices. So, Ruff looks around and sees Chloe making whipped cream and is like, hey, that's gonna be the secret ingredient. So, he puts whipped cream on top of curry. And it sounds disgusting, but apparently all the characters love it. And yes, I looked it up and apparently whipped cream curry is a thing in the game. Curry Dex 121 for those wondering. Time passes and eventually the fossil restoring machine is done. However, like I said, since they accidentally mixed up some of the fossils, instead of Arctovish and Dracozolt, they get Arctozolt and Dracovish. And I realized that I'm not doing justice to the humor in this episode. Trust me, it's easier to just go and watch it than me try to actually explain the humor in this episode because this episode is really funny. Cara Liss and Ruff even just make up explanations on the fly for these fossils, which show how strange these fossils are. But that's when chaos starts to brew about as Dracovish starts chasing Ash. Ash tries to stop it with the Electro Web, but it's super powerful so it just breaks through, and instead Dracovish uses a water move which accidentally hits Arctozolt. Now, Arctozolt is upset and it starts freezing the area nearby, which causes Ash and DRACOVISH to crash into each other as they slip on the ice. Somehow between this chaos, Ash somehow gets on top of DRACOVISH, who just starts legging it. It just starts running and running and running, but all it turns out is that it just wanted to jump into water, and it calms down afterwards. Meanwhile, since Arctozolt is upset, it starts freezing everything around. It also ends up freezing the scientist. Cinderace has to unfreeze them using Fireball. So now Goh has to step in, and he pulls out his newly captured Boldore. He uses Stone Edge, and the Arctozolt just kind of tanks it, which is pretty impressive. Then the Arctozolt uses Charge and starts charging at Boldore, who's defending himself using Harden. But then Ash on the other side, when he's in the water, tells DRACOVISH, hey, let's just look around, when DRACOVISH starts legging it back the way he came. So he's running and running, and eventually he comes back into the fight where Boldore and Arctozolt are going at it, and crashes into Arctozolt, which somehow causes it to calm down. Seeing this, the scientists tell our heroes, hey, it looks like these Pokemon like you, and we've already gotten our research, so thank you for that, and you can capture it. So, both of our heroes catch a Pokemon. Ash with the DRACOVISH, Goh with the Arctozolt. Once our heroes are back in Cerise's laboratory, they talk to the museum curator, who helps them thank them for their work and research. But more importantly, Cerise asks Chloe how did she enjoy the trip, and she says she really enjoyed it and hopes to go to more in the future. And the episode ends with her writing a report about it. It's exciting to see some more character progression in the series. Ash has always been a static character in the newer series, so he's not really changing much. And Goh, it feels like he's kind of plateaued out for a while now too, so he's not really changing much. It's good to have someone like Chloe in the background who's also evolving and changing as a person, so we can see some progression. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. My biggest fear is that, similar to Farfetch, similar to Gengar, DRACOVISH is just going to be relegated to the background, and I pray that does not happen. I really like DRACOVISH as a Pokemon, and they have the potential to make it really good. I'm just worried that they're not going to do anything with it. Hopefully I'm wrong about this. Also, since this is Ash's 6th Pokemon, I guess he's not going to be getting Grookey after all. It's most likely going to go to Goh, which is kind of disappointing because he hasn't really done anything with his Pokemon, not named Cinderace. I don't know, hopefully they prove me wrong this time. In terms of this episode though, I really like the depiction of Cara Liss and Rough, and even the way they made Pokemon Curry. Everything just flowed together so well and so nice. This episode is really fun, and if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a blast. It feels like this next episode is made for me. I've been complaining about the fact that Farfetch'd and Gengar have been shafted, and it looks like finally Farfetch'd is getting the respect it deserves. I am so excited for next episode, I cannot wait. But anyways, that is it for my review of episode 50 of the Journeys to Animes. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe. I broke down the new opening, so if you haven't seen that video, you can click right here on the screen to watch that. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter at TheRealPdGaming, and that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.